Okay, doing a third video here. This one's going to be on how to use the waiver wire and when you'd want to use that. Again, back on Caker Demo and logged in on Team Sabres there. So let's go to my team. And, there's a lot of reasons you'd use the waiver wire. If you just have somebody that's really not performing, you drafted them or acquired them and you thought they were going to be great and they just aren't. They're just got benched or whatever. They're not doing good for you. You want to get rid of them. Maybe you don't want to make a trade. You don't want to give up anything of value. Um, or there's just somebody better on the waivers. That you want to pick up. Or a free agent. And I'll explain the difference between a waiver and a free agent in a moment. But let's say you decided, okay, or there could be, say you have an injury, somebody's on injured reserve, they're out for the year. You need to, pick up somebody else. You don't think he's somebody you want to, keep as a keeper for next year, so you might as well dump him and get a healthy body in there. Or you have two guys at one, say both your quarterbacks are on bye this week. Well, you better get a quarterback somewhere and play him. Or one guy's on a bye and one guy's just got a sprained ankle and is only out for the week. Well, you may have to sacrifice one of your lesser players and dump them in order to get somebody playing this week. There's a lot of different reasons. So the way you want to use the waivers is you go to players here, and this will give you the list of everything. The default is all available players right up there. Now, down here, where it says the little W there, I wish I could show you what will be, normally during the season. You'll see like a bunch of W's, or it could also say FA for free agent. Now, the difference between a waiver and a free agent, a waiver is somebody that everyone has a chance to put a claim on. In our league, waivers go by last place team gets first priority up to the first place team, but it rotates. If you put in a claim and got it, then you go to the back of the line, so then the next team would have a shot at the next guy. Um, so it's not just the last place team gets everybody they put a claim in. They get the top priority for their first pick, and then the next team gets the top priority for theirs, and so on and so forth. And everybody is on waivers from the time games start until I believe it's Wednesday morning. And then when waivers are assigned to whoever had the highest priority. Now, after Wednesday, say a guy isn't picked up, nobody wanted him on Wednesday, during the waiver period. All the guys who nobody put a claim in on are free agents, and that's where you see under this little owner thing, you'll see FA for free agent. What that means is you can pick that guy up immediately. Say on Wednesday's practice, your starting quarterback injures his knee, and you need a quarterback for the game. Well, if he's a free agent, you don't have to go through the waiver process. You can just claim him right now, and that'll be on. Now, once games start, then everyone goes on to waivers. So that'll be different. But during that time between Wednesday morning and when the games start, the guys who aren't claimed are a free agent. Now there's a lot of different ways to look here. That's all available players. You could just have all players. You could look at different teams, but that comes more into trades, and I'll show you that. You can look at free agents. Who's available right now? I don't want to go through waivers I just want to pick somebody up right this second. And filter, I don't think there'll be, there's nobody on right now on this league. You do waivers only, and that's the opposite, like who's available for the waivers process. Position, I need my quarterback's hurt, and I want to go to all available players. Those are players that aren't on a team at the moment. And I want to see, I only need a quarterback for this week. I got a guy on bye, and my other quarterback's hurt. This isn't somebody I'm planning on keeping long term. So maybe I want to look at week 1 projections. But who projects the best for this week, whether that's matchups or whatever. Do a filter and then maybe go by projects the most fan points. And oh look, it's Foles. This week has a good matchup, so maybe you pick him up. Again, if you're looking for somebody that is okay, who projects best for the rest of the season, you had somebody go on injured reserve, and that's a whole season type thing. Say, okay, I had a tight end, and he got hurt for the injured reserve. I need a new backup tight end. Maybe you want to look at season projection or remaining games. Say it happens in game 5. Who projects the best for the rest of the year? So you go to remaining games, filter, and then probably fan points there for remaining games. That's who projects the best for the rest of the year. There's a lot of different little, if you got a guy that's out 2 to 4 weeks, you could have next 4 games, and go by that. There's a lot of different ways to break down who you're getting off waivers, and it depends on what kind of use you have for them. Is it somebody you're looking to keep for the season? Is it somebody that you just need to throw in for a game and then you can dump them again? Is it whatever it is, you can go up here and kind of get an idea. You can get an idea of what they've done to this point, the season total. And this probably won't have anything right now because there's no games played, but you can see who's done well to this point, because sometimes Yahoo is wrong. They think a guy isn't very good and he keeps getting a ton of points. Maybe you want to go by who's actually put up points rather than what Yahoo thinks, and look by that. Again, you can go by position. There's kicker and defense down there too. And so let's say after all this, we want to go by our tight end got hurt, and so we're gonna go by who we think is the best tight end, and we think Bennett here is the guy we want to pick. So what you do once you decide which guy you want to add, you click Add Player. And it'll show you his information there. And then you got to pick on who you want to drop. Now we're going to say Gronkowski is hurt for the year again. And so you drop him, and then it'll give you a quick comparison, and you can do one, if you're just dropping a guy because you don't think he's very good, maybe you want to check here to make sure that the guy you're picking up is actually better. So you can check his stats. Okay, well, does he get more points? Is he projected to get more points? Is it, it's just week 1 or remaining games for the rest of the season? Is he projected to get more points? What have they done so far, season total there? I guess that one gives you last season, but that'll give you this season. That's stats. There we go. Okay. That's what they did last season. There's what they've done so far this season. You can really compare their stats to make sure that that's the guy you want. And once you decide that, you hit Create Claim and add your new guy and drop the old guy. And what happens is, if it's a free agent, that guy's on your team right away. It's done. and you got him. If it's a waiver claim, you got to wait and see if your claim is the one that he gets assigned to, because while he's on waivers, 5 teams could put a claim in on the same guy, and he can only go to one of them. So whoever has the highest priority on waiver, whoever's next up in line, will get the guy. So what happens is you get this little waiver message up here that shows you have a claim in, and this one says July 29th it'll go through, and you can go in and check that, and that'll show you what the claim is and that kind of thing. Now, if by some chance you decide, during that time period you make a trade, you find out the guy that was hurt isn't as hurt badly as you thought he was, and you don't want to dump him anymore, whatever reason you don't want to do that waiver, you can go ahead and hit cancel waiver, and that'll cancel your claim. You're not going to try that anymore. Now, let's go back to players, and I'll show you one other little thing here. Let's say you had two things happen. You had a tight end, and you also wanted a wide receiver. And you want to see, okay, let's look at week 1, because wide receiver, we just need somebody to plug in this week, because we have 3 guys on bye. So let's see who's going to be best projected week 1. And it goes, okay, Torrey Smith. So you add him, and you go and dump whoever, well, let's pretend Roddy White. And you go and you dump that, and you compared stats and projected stats and all that. So you click that. Now you have 2 waivers in there. You have the first one of Bennett and dropping Gronkowski, and the second one of Smith dropping Roddy White. Now remember, our waiver is set up so that the last place team or whoever's next in line gets their first player, but then you go to the back of the line for the next one. So it's important to have your waivers ordered by who's really important. Maybe you really need this tight end to go through, or let's do the opposite. Say you really need this wide receiver to go through. That is an absolute, you gotta get him. But this tight end you'd kind of like, but if you don't get him, it's not the worst thing in the world. Well, you want to go to edit waiver priority and make sure that the wide receiver then is the first one that goes through, because you don't want to get the tight end, go to the back of the line, and then somebody else gets your wide receiver. So there you change priority, and now that wide receiver is the first one the computer will put through for you, and the tight end will go later if you get him. So you'll go to the back of the line, and then if nobody wanted Bennett after you already get your wide receiver, then maybe you get both, but the priority is that wide receiver. Again, if any of them were free agents, you'd just be able to pick them up right then, but that's how waivers work. You do that every week. You see who's available, who you want, and you put in claims, and that's a big part of the game, is because as much as we draft and we think we know what's going to happen, a lot of the guys that you think are going to be good at the beginning of the year aren't going to be, and there's going to be guys that right now nobody's heard of that are going to be stars by the end of the year. And it's going to be the people that make the right waiver claims in a lot of cases that are going to end up winning. So that's a big important part of it. I hope that helps. Any questions, let me know.